Dr. Deborah Stroman.
From the basketball court at the University of Virginia to the classroom at UNC Chapel Hill, Dr. Deborah Stroman has it all covered. Now this professor and sports business entrepreneur is about to take you to school. It's time for Dishing It Up with Dr. Stroman and the Sports Shop on Buzz Sports Radio.
D-Stro, what's good with you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's up, Dr. Stroman?
Happy birthday to my fellow Libra and soul sister Queen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yes, it is a beautiful time of the year with the little cooler weather, the beautiful leaves, and then the celebration of Debbie and Pam's birthday.
That's right. That's right.
That's what's
Wonderful days. I mean, absolutely
Yes,
fabulous
indeed.
days.
So I just want to make mention that yesterday was the final or the last dance with the Basketball Analytics Summit. We had a wonderful, wonderful session, starting off with Coach Rick Carlisle,
Oh, wow.
NBA Coach of the Year with the Dallas
God.
Mavericks, who is now head coach of the Indiana Pacers. Then we had amazing interviews with Ken Pomeroy and Dr. Todd Whitehead from Sport Radar Synergy, who did some really, really cool stuff with visualization. And then, of course, the father of basketball analytics, Dean Oliver. So it was a great closeout. I was so fired up. I'm saying, wow, maybe I want to keep this going. But I have something else that I'm hatching, so I needed to carve out some space. But it was a great closeout. And thank you to Sports Shop for being, I think it was, this was my ninth
Yeah.
Nice summit. So thank you
My
for
goodness.
your support over the years.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned for more. But I want to talk about legacy. It's been noted more and more that we have sons of NBA legends taking over high school basketball. And I think we had some very prominent names. Those of us in the Triangle in the Tar Heel State know about Michael Jordan's son, Jeffrey, who played at the University of Central Florida. We know about Shaquille O'Neal's son, Sharif, who played at UCLA and LSU. But there are a number of young ballers who are stepping into the space. So I just want to have a conversation about genes, work ethic. What about mom? Is it too much pressure? Just thinking about even Drake May being in a family of amazing athletes. I'm reminded of Kenny Smith's son,
Yeah.
KJ Smith, who transferred to Carolina. But I just want to make note of some of these big names. The most prominent, of course, is probably Bronny and Bryce James. Bronny is probably the most famous legacy kid. Let me correct myself. I don't like calling young men and women kids. But he required security anytime he went into a gym. Bryce James is currently a junior in high school. He did take an unofficial visit to Ohio State. We'll see what happens there. The talk of the town for all the Dukies who are listening in is Cameron and Caden Boozer.
Yeah.
His father played at Duke. Cameron Boozer averaged nearly 26 points and 12 rebounds at a big tournament. I think it was called the Border League. Then we've got Carmelo Anthony's son, Cayenne, who's balling out. We've got Scottie Pippen's youngest son, Justin Pippen. And then we've got Scottie Pippen Jr., who I think I saw him in the preseason with the Lakers. We've got Jace and Jackson Richardson. His father played at Michigan State, where he won a national championship. And then we've got some others. We've got Trevor Ariza's son. We've got Gilbert Arenas' son. We've got Jermaine O'Neal's son and Ron Harper's son. So I'll pause there and just, talk about raising your children, hoping that they're going to be high school athletes, be so happy if they made it to the college, let alone pros. But how about these family genes and work ethic? What does it take?
Well, again, we talked about Deborah Stroman. We rock with her each and every Thursday, same place, same time. Interesting you bring this topic up because last night I was watching the Golden State Warriors play. And did you know they have 5 individuals on that team whose fathers played in the NBA?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
5 on one team. Andrew Wiggins' father played in the NBA. Klay Thompson's father played in the NBA.
Yes, Clay.
Gary Payton's father played in the NBA. of course, and Trace Jackson Davis, Dale Davis,
That's
son right there.
Oh, Dale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what I
finally Steph Curry. So you got 5 guys on that team who follows. They played not had a cup of coffee, but played in the NBA. And I thought that was interesting. Just hearing that last night, and you bringing this topic up this morning, it's a good little segue in that. I think it's amazing because the percentages of that happening can't be double digits. I mean, for your son to elevate to that level,
Right.
But
daughter.
or daughter, yes. But hearing you, Dr. Strom, this is just something really to think about going forward. Yeah.
So, Errol, let me ask you,
Sure.
raising your daughters,
Yes.
when they were first born, I'm sure you thought, we're going to get some type of ball in their hand.
Well, I got a
But
grandson
they
that's going to be in the NFL and the NBA in about 20 years right now, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, go ahead and ask me the question.
So we'll get to the grandchildren. I'm talking about your daughters.
Okay.
Wasn't there some hope, some belief, but eventually you realized their gifts were in other places?
Well, it's interesting, yes, because I had 2 daughters, and being a former athlete, and they were athletes. Bianca, to be honest with you, was an unbelievable athlete. She just didn't love the game. She's a track athlete, and she could have went to Carolina on a scholarship and decided not to. But
wait, no, not so fast. How did that make you feel when she said, "I'm not going to continue"?
I was disappointed. Because she said she wanted, and she got an academic scholarship. She'd rather do that. But I was disappointed, to be honest. I really wanted them to be in athletics because that's what I was part of. But they played everything, and I had a great experience up until through high school with both of them. Because Erica, she played tennis and things like that. But yeah, after that was done. But I really wanted them to go further. But no, they didn't want it, and I was cool with that. And their mom was like, "Whatever you want to do, that's on you guys." So, yeah, I was cool with that. Yeah, I was cool with that. But yeah, I did want them to go further. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Wow.
What's your take, Pam? K-Mac?
Yeah, for me, it was early on. I was like, Naya's not going to do it. She's not. She don't even like sports. But she does. She ended up. She loves sports, but she's not. She didn't play any. But my nephews played. And one of my nephews, I watched him, and so I felt like that's mine. It felt like legacy. He played high school quarterback. He ended up playing in college and now coach. And his mom played college basketball and a coach, and her other son is coaching. So I love watching that legacy. So I think it's big, to see that, and you want that. But at the end of the day, you just want them to do what they love to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. I mean, both of my daughters, neither one of them really don't care about sports. They follow, of course they're football fans. You can't help but be a football fan, being from the South. But, playing sports and being, wanting to be an athlete, I don't think my youngest daughter had a little desire to want to play basketball, but after she realized you had to get up early all the time, do all that, she was like, well, I got to do that and study.
Right.
No, that's okay. She chose not to. But plus, she wanted to be a veterinarian, so that her whole track was different. She didn't really care about sports. But for me, just looking at the landscape, though, Dr. Stroman, just listening to what you were talking about this, I think it speaks volumes when you see this many, I guess offspring of so many athletes being able to rise to this level. I think it speaks volume about exposure. I think it speaks volumes about whenever there's someone that's in front of you that can open doors for you, it provides you with opportunities for you to be successful. Now, we could probably name another 100 of them that their kids didn't do a doggone thing because they didn't have any athletic ability. And what we could also name another 100 people that had tremendous athletic ability but didn't have certain doors and certain opportunities to be able to afford them to get to this next level. And I think this speaks volume that when the two come together, you can see where if you have some athletic ability, the desire, and people to be able to open doors and pave pathways for you, success is definitely going to be in your future.
Yeah, I think one thing to think about too is she mentioned pressure.
Yeah.
Like LeBron's son,
Yeah.
can't go anywhere, without security. But I would often wonder, like, what about that kid that is LeBron's son, and he is talented, but what if he really didn't even want to play, but the pressure to play, and you go ahead and do that, even though you really don't want to. I'm sure there's so many of
at this level,
things
at
like
that level,
Yeah.
it'll show.
I think to Kimmy's point, I think exposure is very, very important. I would think that there are more offsprings that are achieving because of the period that we're in life versus several years ago. It wasn't like that coming up. And I would say this, Dr. Strom, probably I was blessed not to have the son because I probably put too much pressure on him.
Exactly.
I probably want him to do so much. So maybe it just worked out pretty well. I had my two daughters.
Because I think pressure, I think that's real.
No, I think it is.
It's
That's
very
really real.
Yeah,
and we see a lot of abuse with the parents. And in fact, oftentimes for youth coaches, they have more problems with the parents putting so much pressure and having to navigate that very, very difficult relationship of trying to get the athlete to hear me, listen to the rest of the other coaches, but the parent is sitting there, glaring from the stands, or some are bold enough to come on down to the bench and talk to their players, to their children. So
wait a minute, Dr. Stroman, if you had a daughter, how and you've been a former, big time point guard, University of Virginia. How would that work out?
Hall of Fame.
Wait a minute, and keep it 100 now. How would that work out? Because I know you. I know you.
Just like you, Errol, I think it would have been very, very challenging.
Exactly.
I even think about some of my students when I see something in them and they don't.
Trust me.
Hey.
You didn't want to be that daughter without this trouble.
Exactly.
Hey, look.
Exactly.
She's like, do I have to pass? Do you have to pass?
Right.
I remember when my nephews were younger, I brought them to was it Duke? I think I did both, Duke and Carolina's basketball camp. And they did a pretty good job, but they were more football minded. So you know what that means. And I say this with all due respect to you, Errol. Yeah. Football players who aren't basketball players, it's pretty ugly out on the court.
It's not fluid, Dr. Stroman. That's the word you're looking for.
You're not referring about me. I know that.
He didn't even flinch. He was just like, oh, okay. That's some people, but not me.
But it can be very, very difficult playing with football players.
Wow.
But I'm also thinking about what do the parents provide, the work ethic, the role model. Some of the young athletes are saying just being able to listen to anything that he says, the resources, as you mentioned, the training, the diet, the different drills, understanding what it takes to get to the next level. So it is a special, special opportunity. But I'm hoping that somebody will do some research on this. I'm curious to see the percentage because this, and I think it's harder maybe because the football, there's so many more football players. Just the nature of how many is on the field versus how many on the court. But I haven't seen this where you have this next generation making it to the elite level. It's very, very special.
Wow.
Yeah. And also just think about just society in general. It happens everywhere. Everybody wants the kid to take over the family business. Everybody wants, if I'm a lawyer, I want my son or daughter to be the lawyer in the firm. If I was a doctor, I want my son, a daughter to be the doctor.
Good point.
You know what I mean? So it happens everywhere. Because it's about that one thing you mentioned, it's about legacy, right?
That's right.
So it happens everywhere. Pressure's put on everybody to try to reach that level. And how many times have we seen the son or daughter go to law school, medical school, and say, I really want to be an artist?
Right.
I really want to be an actress or actor or whatever. Right? It happened, same thing. But guess what they all have in common? They have access to those areas.
Resources.
If they chose to really do it, they could do it.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think we talked enough talking about the national media around Deion Sanders, but with this conversation, we have to come back to Shedeur and Shiloh as well. But his father is very loud and bold. Now, I'm personally one who I'm okay with it, but just think about how Shedeur has handled this pressure of a father that's still in the limelight, and yet he is in the limelight. So to me, I just tip my hat. certainly there are some things I'm old school that I don't necessarily agree with, but it's a new age. You know, I've got to respect the way things have changed. But Shedeur has handled this pressure amazingly.
Oddly enough, Doug Stroman, he doesn't know any other life.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So it's not a pressure to him.
That's a great point.
He doesn't know any other lifestyle. It's like LeBron's kids. They don't know any other lifestyle.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? What I'll be afraid of is when they turn the lights down.
Right.
What do they do? Because they don't. They'll be
life after football.
Yeah,
Right.
those are the ones that they really, really struggle, because once you turn the lights down, that's when life changes for them.
Mm-hmm. And trying to decide who's in your circle, who's going to be your homeboy or homegirl, because you don't know if people just jumped on because of the limelight.
That's true.
And all of a sudden when the lights go off, major injury, and I hope that never happens, or the next level, he's just not as effective.
Yeah.
Who stays in your circle? Who do you trust? And we have so many examples of players who've been burned and hurt and lost close friends and lovers because of all this, because the lights turned off.
Yep. So,
well, I don't have to worry about that with you all. You all, I've seen you in the limelight. I've seen you just chilling, and you all are authentic, and that's what makes the Sports Shop so wonderful.
Likewise,
thank you.
I'm
Right back at you. Right back at you.
Being on this show, I done been through the dark with some of these jokes here. Well, we in the light now.
Shine a light on it.
All right, Dr. Stroman, it's been a pleasure. We appreciate you as always.
Good topic, by the way. Great topic.
All right. Well, have a great weekend.
Okay.